Hi folks, Neil, the Lush video guy here. Welcome to my first video. So the story starts with someone named Jeff who emailed me asking me about the split 3.5-inch floppy disk. If you haven't heard of it, I would say it's among the more rare and collectible Lush items. I don't personally own one, but I have a few friends that do. Here's a picture of the label, courtesy of my friend Bill, who runs the excellent Light from a Dead Star website. And if you haven't visited it yet, you need to know that is the best resource for Lush information. Has tons of curated content. Visit it if you haven't. If you'd like to stay tuned, I would like to give you a tour of this interactive program. And for those of you who've never seen it, show you what it's all about. Now, ever since Jeff emailed me, I've been on kind of a mission of sorts to get my old vintage Macintoshes working again. Or at least one of them, so I could make a video tour of this interactive program. I had to get a few Macintosh pieces and parts together. I even bought a few vintage Macs off of eBay just so I could get to the point where I could even run the thing again. So I hope you enjoy the fruits of my labor. But first, let me give you a little context and background for this neat little item. So back in 1994, when you were marketing an album release, you would typically send out a promo kit that included some text and pictures. Here's a Cocteau Twins one for the Milk and Kisses album. It's a lot of text. I'm not going to read it all now. Lots of information. It's on real nice paper, as is the picture that got included with it. I'm sure you've seen this picture before. Maybe in the kit there would be a promo CD with the usual not for sale stamp on it. Take it a step further and you would send out an EPK, an electronic press kit, which was typically a VHS tape that had a mixture of interviews, some video clips, information about the band, maybe some tour dates. It wouldn't be very long, maybe 5-10 minutes long. Some were kind of plain. Here's a Future Sound of London one. Not much going on there. Or you could really do it upright and make a custom item. Remember Sean Colvin, Sunny Came Home? Yeah, they put a little bit more effort into this. I actually used to do a few of these EPKs in the 90s using a very early version of Adobe Premiere and TrueVision Targa board. But if you want to take it even one step further, you could create an interactive program with the same kind of assets. Interview clips, sound bites, album graphics, and so on. I didn't work in music marketing, so I don't know how common these things were in 1994, but I did collect a lot of music back then, still do. Bought a lot of promotional items, and this is sort of unusual and hip for the time. What was also unusual is this was made only for Macintosh. So back in 1994, Apple had only about 10 to 15% of the desktop computer market. Windows 3.1 from Microsoft was the dominant operating system of the time. Macintoshes that were capable of producing color were a relatively new thing. Many of them still only did black and white or shades of gray, and if you did have a newer Mac in 1994, chances are good it would only be capable of producing 8-bit or 256 colors. Or even 16-bit, which is thousands of colors. It's nothing that Macs or PCs today even need to worry about, as they do 16 or 24-bit color right out of the box. But back in the 1990s, Macintosh really gained traction as being more of a multimedia computer. Not that you couldn't play or create multimedia content on a Windows 3.1 PC back in the day, but if you were a content creator, videos, music, or what have you, and you were willing to pay a premium for it, you probably had a Mac. Most Macs have some video capability built right in, so you didn't have to go buy a video card and slot it in your PC, keep your drivers up to date and stuff like that. Most Macs also had sound built in. On the low end, it was basic sound, probably only 8-bit or even mono, not the 16-bit CD quality stereo that we're just used to today. And again, generally, you didn't have to buy a Sound Blaster sound card for your Mac, something typically you would do on a Windows computer. So maybe that's why they went with something that would run on a Mac. The authoring program used to create this was by a company called Macromedia. The program itself was called Director. I know this because if I look at the file's properties shown here, I can see which program created it and when. and in this case, it was made early June 1994. And for all you media nerds like me, Director used to be called VideoWorks. The company Macromedia was eventually acquired by Adobe in 2005. And around this time, Macromedia Director was only available for Macintoshes. It wasn't until a few months later that Macromedia came out with a version for Windows. So if Split had been released a little bit later, or Macromedia would have come out with a Windows version earlier, it's interesting to think if Lush would have seen any more success by having this program available cross-platform for Windows as well. I guess we'll never know. So it's around this time that CD magazines started coming out. They usually had QuickTime movie clips, music clips, photos, interviews, games, game demos, game reviews, and so on. And, a nice menu system to bring it all together. Here's a couple of examples. Here's one for the Launch CD-ROM featuring Tori Amos. I think it was from 1994 for Windows and Mac. Here's an issue of Blender featuring Bjork from 1995, also for Windows and Mac. And as a matter of fact, Lush were featured on the premiere issue of a CD magazine called Click Interactive. Here it is, in 1994. It had an interview with Lush, and I think the complete video for Hypocrite, but it wasn't DVD quality or anything like that. And that was only available for Windows. So these CD magazine issues were popular for only about a couple years as content providers started moving their content to this new thing called the World Wide Web and the Internet using HTML, and the rest is history. So back to the Split Interactive program. It was created by a company called Post Tool Design out of San Francisco, California, and doing a quick internet search. I'm not sure they're still active. They do have a Facebook page, but it hasn't been updated since 2017. So how did you get your hands on one of these back in 94? Two ways. Number one, I'm guessing that the floppy disks were sent out to radio stations and TV departments to promote the album Split. I have no idea if they were sent out alone or part of a press kit or what. Number two, you could download the file off of America Online. Remember that? So around 1994, I believe there were email listservs or list servers around, also known as mailing lists or digests. And if I remember correctly, there was one called 4AD/L and another one named Starlust, just for Lush content. Somebody probably sent out an email to one of these two groups, letting everyone know that it was available. If you logged into AOL, you could download it. So, there's free trials of America Online that offer you like 5 or 10 hours to try it out. I signed up just for the trial, just so I could download the file over my dial-up modem, tying up the phone line. And the modem itself was probably a 33K or 56K. I don't remember. I do remember taking it quite a long time to download on my Mac, which was probably a Macintosh LC3 or a Quadra 610 at the time. I don't think it took 5 hours to download or 10 hours. May have taken a half hour or an hour or something, crazy by today's standards. Anyways, as soon as the download was done, I canceled my trial membership. So whether you got the file from America Online or on the floppy disk, you would have this one file called lush.sea. SEA stands for Self-Extracting Archive. Think of it as a zip file that has a program built into it that conveniently unzipped it for you. So you didn't need to have WinZip or 7-zip installed or anything like that. All you have to do is double-click it, and it would put a file called Lush Interactive on your Mac. Double-click it, and off you go. The whole tour will take 9-10 minutes. I intentionally left it on some of the pages for a minute or so to give you time to read all the text on the screen without needing to pause the video. Keep in mind that all this content had to fit on a floppy disk, which was only 1.4 megabytes, so the audio clips are short and looped and definitely aren't CD quality. So here we go. Enjoy, and keep your eye on the caster.
hypocrite. Actually, a lot of people think that's about them.
Desire Line?
Desire Line, is that the end of
the end of the song?
When I Die, it's about my father.
Anyway, onwards and upwards.